It's getting bumpy. Whenever they turn that light on, he says the seats get all bumpy. Every time they turn on that light, the seats get so dang bumpy. So he's assuming that because the light turns on, it's getting bumpy. What? Is he right?
Yeah.
Is it getting bumpy because the light turns on?
No.
Why is it getting bumpy?
The turbulence.
Why is the light turning on?
To warn them about the turbulence.
The turbulence. So the light isn't causing the bumpiness. They're both just responding to the same stimulus. That's my phone ringing through the TV. Biashki. Yep. No worries. All right, what should Billy's mom say to him? How should she react to him?
Or let him know.
Yeah. Tell him about the fact that it's not the fact that the lights that's turning on the bumpiness, it's that they're both just happening for the same reason. It's not an issue. Just chill. I need to go get a thing for me. All right. So, what this is trying to get us to notice is that just because two things happen at the same time or in the same kind of way doesn't mean they're necessarily because of each other. Just because our data looks very similar or trends in the same way doesn't mean they are because of the same reason. So the light turning on and the seats getting bumpy are not related to each other directly. They have to make this jump to turbulence in between. So what we're going to be talking about today is, we've got a couple of new words. We're going to talk about correlation versus causation. So that's honestly all we put on that page. They have a whole lot of space just for that little comic. So on page 91, we have another kind of situation. On page 91, we're talking about golf and divorce. All right, guys. Let's put the phone away. So we've got that researchers have noticed that the number of golf courses and the number of divorces are strongly correlated, meaning they move in the same kind of direction. So correlation just means they move similarly. And that both have been increasing in the last several decades. So the number of golf courses is increasing, and our number of divorces is increasing. So both are increasing. There is a correlation. They are doing the same kind of thing. Does that mean that the number of golf courses increasing causes the number of divorces to increase? That would be my question.
They want to enjoy their golfing.
Is that the golf courses are causing divorces?
Not directly, no. Bang on the door like that.
It says not like you mean it. We have this conversation at least twice a week. Oh my gosh, y'all. We have this conversation at least twice a week.
I can make it louder.
No, we don't need to. We got the point. So,
That's my complaint.
what we're looking at is they're similar. They're both increasing. But that doesn't mean we can say that the golf courses because that doesn't make any dang sense, because it's a golf course. There's more golf courses doesn't mean your marriage is breaking up. There's a golf course right there does not mean your marriage is breaking up. So what else could be a contributing factor to the fact that golf courses are increasing and divorces are increasing?
More single guys.
I was going to say, there's more groups of guys that are hanging out. Could be that we have more income. If we have a higher paying job, maybe we have more time to go to the golf course. Maybe we have
Maybe they're retired.
retired.
Family events.
Yeah. So there's a lot of different reasons why these things can be happening in the same direction at the same time, but not necessarily that they are connected
More
to each
people
other.
in the world.
I heard you. I'm headed that direction, but I'm just also talking at the same time. So what we're going to talk about is I'm going to give us some words at the bottom of 90 or 91, where you have the most space. We're going to have some words to talk about here. So we're going to be talking about correlation and causation. We've already talked about correlation a little bit, but I'm giving you guys some proper definitions now. I would recommend writing these down.
I remember these.
So what a correlation is a relationship between two sets of data. Our number of golf courses increased and our number of divorces increased. They had a correlation. They were moving in the same direction. They followed the same trend. They have a correlation. If they look kind of similar, they're a correlation. A lot of times it'll be that they're both increasing or that both pieces of information are decreasing. A lot of times looking at this data, we're going to look at graphs where this is one type of data and this is one type of data. So like a scatter plot kind of deal, looking at a line in there. As my green data gets bigger, my blue data gets bigger. That is a positive correlation. That is I'm just going to highlight it. That is our positive correlation. That is an increasing line. If we have a negative correlation, as one piece of data increases, our other piece of data decreases. So that would be a line that kind of goes like this. So it's decreasing. I'm going to change the color. So as one piece increases, the other one decreases. So as green gets bigger, blue gets smaller. That would be a negative correlation. So correlation, just do they do similar things? Does the data follow the trend? A causal relationship, causal has the word cause in here, so this is the cause. And that means it directly results. So it's not that our golf courses increase divorces, is that the increase in money caused more divorces. The increase in money caused more golf courses. So maybe it's just that they got a raise. Maybe it's just over time, because back in the 50s, women couldn't have their own bank accounts, so they didn't really get divorced all that much because they weren't legally allowed to have money. So there weren't as many divorces, and there weren't as many golf courses. But nowadays, women are allowed to have bank accounts, so there are more divorces. There are more golf courses because we've had a lot more time to make them. So causal relationships indicate a direct result of one of the other events. It's not that they have both happening because of turbulence. So the light turning on and the seats getting bumpy, that was not a causal relationship. When we're looking for a causal relationship and seeing if there is cause, you can write it as an if-then. So if the light turns on, then the seats get bumpy. Well, we saw earlier, that didn't really make any sense. But if there is turbulence, then the light turns on. That does make more sense. So some examples down at the bottom, we can think about if we practice more hours in our sport, then the score for the team in the game is better. So if we practice more hours, does the team's score in the game get better? Is that a causal relationship?
50-50.
I was going to say, if we as an individual, if I as an individual practice my football skills, because they are lacking, does that mean that the team score is going to get better?
Could. If you're on the team.
I was going to say, does it mean that the team's score is going to get better? What if I am on the team and I'm on defense
No.
and I practice my skills? Does that mean my team's score gets better? My team's score, does it go up because I'm better at defense? No, because defense just stops the other team from scoring.
Unless you get a interception.
But even that doesn't mean that my hours directly caused our team score to go up. So hours practice and the team score is not a causal relationship. What about smallpox vaccination? So this one is example of not cause. What about smallpox vaccination rates and the spread of smallpox? So if there's an increase in smallpox vaccination rates, does that mean there is a change in smallpox infections? Yeah. What do you think? Is that a causal relationship? Yeah, that directly affects the other one. The smallpox vaccine directly affects our smallpox infection rates. Just like if we do the flu shot, same thing. The flu shot rate is going to directly affect how many people get the flu. So this is an example of a causal relationship. There is cause in the smallpox vaccination rate. There is not cause in the hours of practice I do for football and the football team score.
Unless you're on offense.
I mean, even if I was quarterback, because my skills vastly improve, that doesn't mean my hours practiced relates to the team score because it relies on so many other pieces. Maybe I practice all summer and the rest of the team does not. So I get better and nobody else does. But that doesn't mean our score is going to be higher. Maybe the other team's really good.
There's things you can't compute.
There's things we cannot for sure decide. So it is really hard to have a for sure causal statement because we just don't have enough information when we're only looking at 2 or 3 variables. But there are some times when we can kind of spot trends. Okay? What we're going to do is we are going to practice identifying if there is correlation, meaning our data moves in similar directions. If there is causation, meaning one thing causes the other. And seeing if we can start to notice maybe positive or negative trending. And the way we're going to do that, as I know a couple of us spotted it, we have some posters around the room. They had black backgrounds on them this time. So what we're going to do is we have an around the room activity. I'll put this one up because this is great. There are 9 around the room. And it's not going to lead you in a chain. It's just independently so you can bounce around. So if one of them's too crowded, go to a different one. And you're going to fill in what you think. Is there causation? Is there correlation? If we don't see anything, do we notice if there is something else that might be causing it? So we're going to try and see if we can notice some of these relationships in these 9 examples around the room. Okay? So come grab a worksheet. I might recommend a clipboard. You guys can work together, that's fine, but you need to be working and not doing it on your phone. But do the thing. Practice this. So everyone should be looking at. Grab a worksheet, maybe a clipboard. You've got 9 stations to get to. And then we'll talk these through on Friday for sure. Okay, if everyone gets done, have to talk through today, but otherwise we'll talk through on Friday.
We could just do A.
I cannot see that.
So is there correlation, is there causation, and what do we notice about those?